I like to think sometimes, you know, I'm a Terminator or something.
Check it out. Alright, so yesterday in Plymouth, Devon in the United Kingdom, a horrific tragedy occurred, which I won't be able to talk about directly here because I get my video age limited or taken down by YouTube, but I'm pretty sure you'll have heard what happened by now. And the tragedy involved 2 women, 2 men and a 10-year-old girl alongside the perpetrator of the incident, who came like a self-aware, independent and self-reliant cake and topped himself after he'd done what he'd done. Now obviously when we're talking about innocent people and a 10-year-old child, the guy that committed this horrific act is an absolute loser, even before we find out anything about him. But as usual in these cases, the people that do these things come like Piers Morgan talking to a black, transgender, non-binary Meghan Markle supporter, in the sense that they're massive attention seekers, which often gives us a revealing insight into the minds of these kind of people. And in the case of the Plymouth Pumplex, also known as Jake Davison, he was a YouTuber who was also an incel virgin. Now if you don't know what an incel is, incel stands for involuntarily celibate, which means they're the type of person that finds it harder to get a shag than a carpet store that's going out of business. Now in the case of Jake Davison, aka Professor Waffle, and many other incels out there, these men are quite aggressive and angry about the fact that they're a complete failure when it comes to building normal, healthy relationships. And because Jake Davison was a YouTuber, he took to the internet to voice that frustration. So without further ado, let's take a little look at a clip that he uploaded shortly before he went on to do what he was gonna do. Check it out.
Because I can feel it. I remember when I was 16, 17, 18, just looking at a girl, just I could feel it, you know? Just you know? And I did have girls into me. I had girls into me. I had them into me. Fucking stupid, ridiculous mental barriers.
So in that clip there, you can see that man like Jake Davison is lamenting the fact that he couldn't get a girlfriend due to what he calls mental barriers. Now most people on earth have experienced insecurities about the way they look at one point or another and have had some difficulty handling rejection. But when it comes to the incel community, these people let those feelings spiral out of control until they become dangerous and extremist misogynistic thoughts. And in the next video we're going to take a look at, you're going to see Jake Davison begin to express those misogynistic thoughts in a completely unhealthy way. Check it out.
Women, a lot of women are very simple-minded and they ain't all that bright. You know, social media and thinking they're princesses and all this, they grow up. A lot of women are quite simple-minded. The only thing they understand is that. You know, you talk about intelligence, smartness, you know, women don't give a fuck about none of that unless you got that.
So now you can see Jake Davison, a man who was critical of himself and appeared to understand that the reason he wasn't able to build relationships with women was due to his own insecurities, now begin to put that blame on the women themselves, making out that women are only interested in looks and money. Now aside from the fact that he's homogenized all women and seems to view women as a monolith, some kind of hive mind that doesn't have the ability to act independently from each other, you can also see that Jake has begun to absolve himself of any responsibility for the things that are happening to him. Women don't like me because I'm not rich and I look like a bargain basement Seth Rogen. Nothing to do with the fact that I'm an absolute weirdo who spends his time frequenting chat rooms on the internet for incels. And speaking of chat rooms and the internet for incels, let's take a look at one of his weird, worrying Reddit posts in which you can see the true extent of his absolute mental weirdo-ness. Check it out. So I recommend you pause it and read through those posts and you can see where man's head is, and it's clearly already in an extremely unhealthy place. And then coupled with the YouTube videos that he was putting out, you can begin to see that my man's spiraling into a state of hatred and extremist views. And as time goes on, Jake Davison gets even more incoherent in his ramblings and begins to make videos in which he's saying even more worrying stuff. Check it out.
It's like, I'm at the point now where it's like, why do I even bother? Like, for what? You know? I'm still in the same house, same situation, same position. Still, everything's still the same. For the most part, it's just been me against the world. It's just been me fighting an uphill battle with a big rock on my back, you know, while I'm seeing that don't deserve half.
You see how he's pointing to himself there? Because what he's saying there is these people don't deserve half of what I deserve, yet here I am struggling. Basically, he's feeling sorry for himself. Now, when you consider what this guy went on to do, it makes you understand that he did what he did because he's a spoiled little brat that felt sorry for himself. So he went and acted as the Grim Reaper to 5 innocent people because he didn't have a big enough pair of bollocks to handle life.
Of anything. Now, they're getting a free ride to the top.
No one's getting a free ride, Jake. You're just too much of a pussy to handle rejection. Now, I understand that everyone finds it difficult. I find it difficult to handle rejection. But you know what? The more you do it and the more you go through something, you build up an immunity. Unless you're so fragile, you can't handle it and start feeling sorry for yourself. But anyway, the next statement he makes, when you consider what he's done, is super chilling. Check it out.
The whole premise of the Terminator movies is that, you know, everything's rigged against you. There's no hope for humanity. You know, we're on the brink of extinction. You know, these machines are unstoppable, killing machines that can't be beaten, can't be outsmarted. But yet, humanity still tries to fight to the end.
Now, I don't know if this guy's ever seen Terminator before, but that's not the premise of the movie. The premise of the movie is that humanity becomes so arrogant, so aggressive, and so reliant upon war to make money that they develop an AI which then makes humanity obsolete. So out of their arrogance, they bring about their own extinction. And when you think about the fact that Jake here arrogantly believes that all women are put on earth to be objects, to be coveted by men, he could take a couple of lessons from that movie, couldn't he? But anyway, here comes the truly spine-tingling bit when Jake, a man who committed the most serious firearms offence you can possibly commit, said this.
I know it's a movie, but it's, you know, I like to think sometimes, you know, I'm a Terminator or something, and despite you know, reaching almost total system failure, he keeps trying to accomplish his mission.
And then a few days after releasing this video, my man went on a shotgun rampage around Plymouth. And you know one of the craziest things about this story? This deranged, unhinged guy was fully licensed to own a firearm. I mean, he wasn't even anonymous online. A quick Google would have told you that he was a nutter, yet you've given him a firearms license. And another thing I find mental is the way this so-called incel extremist community online has been completely ignored by the mainstream, despite being incredibly dangerous to society. And don't get it twisted, they're definitely extremists. But when it comes to law enforcement and the media, they're treated like a bunch of loners who just need a shoulder to cry on. For example, when the news broke, the police service and the media were so quick to make sure this guy wasn't labelled as one of these, despite the fact that what he'd done is committed a clear act of... But anyway, I want to put something out there and let you guys know that I'm trying to make this a full-time living and I really need your help to do so. So any way you can support me would be greatly appreciated. And if that's something you could possibly do, please, please, please head to the description box and sign up to my Patreon today. It's only the cost of a cup of coffee or something like that, and you'll be doing me a massive, massive favor by doing so. So please take the time to do that if you've enjoyed this video or if you've enjoyed any of my videos in the past and that. So yeah, I guess that about does it for today. If you've enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Smash that like button and turn notifications on by clicking that notification bell so you can see more videos like this one. So yeah, once again, thank you all for watching and I'll see you next time. And...